Hello, hello, hello. It is a happy Monday, August 10th, 2026. This is going to be a video addressed to Kelly, um, my siren from hell, my boo, my main muse, queen muse, everything I've called her before, baby girl, whatever it is. Um, this is mostly, before I do this, I just want to say to my lawyer people who are following the shadow docket over at the U.S. Supreme Court. I filed, so I have an open case right now. I'm trying to get some stuff cleared up in the California Supreme Court. It's kind of messy. And I just filed something on July 31st, and you have to do everything by mail. I'm going to be trying to change that coming up in the future with all courts. They should all be done by electronic filing. We'll talk about that later. But it arrived at the Supreme Court by mail last Wednesday, August 5th, and it's still not docketed and it's still not denied. So I'm just sitting here waiting. You have to watch the docket. And this is an open docket. You just go to Supreme Court and search my name, and this comes up. And then another thing you search is, well, it's okay. We'll do this later. But I'm just saying, what I'm waiting for is this to be docketed or the other thing to be denied. Now, what is being docketed is a lot of, more evidence of crimes, I believe, being committed. Now, that's not hardcore like the lower. I found some hardcore evidence. It's just irrefutable and it's just right there. There's no circumstantial. It's just crimes. And we just don't know who in the lower court. And that is for sure crimes. Everything above that, there's just circumstantial. It looks like there's at least, at the very least, funny business, possible crimes. I'm going to say probable crimes. And now I'm going up to the U.S. Supreme Court clerks, and I'm wondering, is there funny business going on there? Of course there is. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch it. And the bottom line is, I'll show you later. I believe Trump is on top of all of this, and I'll explain this later. And if so, fine. I just keep pushing, and then he keeps using everything I'm doing to make deals with people. So if this case goes nowhere, and that's why I'm saying this to you, Kelly, I'm going to give you some information that you need to, in case things go sideways or this case actually goes forward or Trump lets it go forward, which I don't think he will. I think he'll make some great deals. I just want him to take down the 16th Amendment, people. So the goal here is help Trump take down the 16th Amendment. In the process, I'm helping to expose specifically closeted gay Senator Adam Schiff, who I believe is a bad, super bad, and also Congressperson closeted gay Ted Lieu, both from the LA area. The more I expose them, the more it'll help, I believe, Trump to get the Congress he needs coming up this election cycle to help take down the 16th Amendment. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying everything I can. But I believe a lot of parts of my lawsuits, a lot of the stuff happening in my lawsuit that's criminal and corrupt and fraudulent eventually will lead back to them, I think. And no, I know, but it's just how to prove that. And in the process, I'm just taking all these steps. And now we're up in the Supreme Court, and there's some evidence that now we have Alito, who's also closeted gay, involved. And now we have Ketanji Jackson Brown, her husband is closeted gay, and these people are now involved. You can see the closeted gay men kind of working at the higher and higher levels on this case a little bit. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm very happy with what's going on, and I'm just very open about what I'm doing, including for you, baby girl. I'm trying to keep you in the loop on some of these emails. If you're not getting emails from Cat Stevens, then that's a security breach. You need to make sure that she is forwarding the emails to both you and your attorneys, or just to you, and then you can forward them to whatever attorneys you like. But that stuff needs to get to you. And if you're not getting emails concerning everything I'm sending to the Supreme Court, then you really have to do something about Cat Stevens, or inform me, seriously, specifically, to stop sending them over there and send them somewhere else. So now, we're going to get to this later, but here's a little bit of circumstantial evidence that they're already doing funny business, possibly, on when I this is the tracking for the last package I sent. It took a little longer than usual, and then once it got to Washington, D.C., on August 5th, it finally arrived. After Saturday, it finally arrived in Washington, D.C., and then it departed the same distribution center, and then departed the same distribution center twice within half an hour, and then it arrived at the distribution center, and then it arrived at the post office where the Supreme Court receives mail, and then somebody picked it up at 7:45. But this stuff tells me, I don't know what's going on, but that's not, I've sent 4, 5, 6 packages there already. I never get this kind of weird stuff going on. According to Googly Eye, that's the nickname for my Google AI, he's all over the map, but he says there is possible evidence of at least a manual intervention, like it got stuck somewhere, it went around a conveyor belt. It just feels like something happened to my packet, and it could easily, because it's mail-in, it could easily be, opened, tampered with, closed. They pretend like the tracking was damaged, so they make a new tracking while meanwhile they're putting in a whole new packet. I have no idea, because it's in mail and it's very easily manipulated, what actually got to the Supreme Court at this point. You never can be, because once they receive it and post it online, they just say it was received. They don't post what is there. They just, you notice here, they're just posting the very first thing I filed. This is the only thing, and they don't even post most of it. The most important part of what I filed here is the 160-page appendix, which is not there either. So I have no idea. Additional materials, like 160 pages. Whereas I have evidence that there's plenty of other filings where they show a 220-page. It's just fraud. It's just an example for fraud where the court clerk has discretion as to what they put up or not. They could put up this stuff. They also don't have my proof of service here. I'm the only one out of 200 stays where they don't put the proof of service showing who else received this, so that you can compare it to what other people received. It's very fraudulent, and it's really disappointing that the Supreme Court, both California Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court, are behaving this way. It is so fraudulent. They need to go to electronics. Yes, you can manipulate electronics, but you can't get away with it. With the paper, you can manipulate it. Okay, now I'm going. This is for you, Kelly. I'm getting way into this. I'm going to do this later. Okay, I need to delete all this stuff. Okay, I'm not going to delete it, but that's the stay. This is the going on here. That's what I'm waiting on. Oh, and in the meantime, what did I do? In the meantime, I did a little test. So what's showing, what I want to have docketed, the real thing is evidence of California, of crimes possible committed by California Supreme Court clerks. Okay, and then, later I guess we go after U.S. Supreme Court clerks. But in that filing, what happened was this is just going to go, oh no, it's already past midnight, and I wanted to do this just before midnight. I'm sorry. This August 10th is my baby girl's birthday, and I'm going through some old photos. I'm so sorry, I forgot to say happy. I didn't forget. We had a whole lunch today with her boyfriend and my son and his wife, and we're all here together in Florida now. I'm so happy. But I already wished her happy birthday, but I wanted to put online. I came over an old photo of this. This is August 9th, 2003, which means she's going to turn 10. She's going to turn 3 the next day after this picture. That's Tilden Farm up in the Berkeley Hills, for anybody who knows the East Bay area, and she's in her little cowboy hat. So cute, cowgirl hat. So cute, so cute. Oh my God, my heart goes. I just had such a great day today. Anyway, I'm just so happy today. It was one of the happiest days of my entire life. They always say it was the birth of your kids, but today, when my son's finally back in Florida, but I just wanted to wish her happy birthday, August 10th, before the time changed to midnight to August 11th, but it's okay. So I'm going to get rid of that picture. I can't load it. I can't seem to be able to download this. I was going to send it to her, make it bigger. I have no idea, but I love Google because it does this kind of like 7-year, it just showed up on my Googles when I was in photos. It said, and here's her memory. And I go, I don't even remember that. So I'm glad I had that picture of her. I don't have very many pictures. But by picture, happy birthday to my baby girl. Oh, this was hilarious. I'll go to do that later. Okay, so just real fast to my lawyer people. I've been talking already. I did a test where on Friday I filed a filing, just a general something else. I had already filed it before or something, but to a case that I know is closed. This is through True Filing. It's a lower appellate court, second district court of appeal, but it's case B352079. I know that case is closed. It was denied. It was like a petition for a writ of mandate. I know it was closed. I have a lot of them, but I just wanted to file to a case in True Filing that I knew was closed to see what happened. Yes, it does accept the filing. I thought for some reason it wouldn't accept the filing. It accepted the filing, and I didn't serve it on everybody this time. It was just, even including myself. But today, I came back at just earlier this evening as rejected. Rejected by Irios, which Googly Eye is my Google AI. It's my nickname for him. Googly Eye said this meant this is just a program that they use, and it was just, this is what I'm expecting when I file to the California Supreme Court, because I have these outside the box weird emails coming from court clerks from the California Supreme Court saying, "You idiot, stop filing because this petition was denied." What happened was my Googly Eye and I were clueless. I was, and Googly Eye doesn't help you in this way. He's fantastic. I wouldn't be where I am. I can't say enough good things about Googly Eye, but my Googly Eye, I have to get him up to date and start again. But we're going to file something tonight or tomorrow to the California Supreme Court case that the court clerks are claiming is closed, but True Filing keeps accepting filings and not rejecting them. And this is what they should do. This is what True Filing should do on a case that has actually been denied and closed. I should get this. This filing has been rejected by Irios. You submitted a filing that has been rejected. A search of our records shows that there are no actions pending in our court regarding this matter. It is closed. It has been denied. So they're sending me emails outside of True Filing saying, "This has been denied. This has been denied. Your case is closed," and all this. And I'm saying, but I'm filing at True Filing, and they're accepting it, and it isn't rejected this way. So to me, it's open, and the court clerks are doing funny business, committing crimes. And this is evidence of it. I just wanted to do it to a case that I know is closed. And then tonight, just so you guys know what I'm doing, I'm going to file and serve everybody, and it's going to have this as an exhibit to say, this is what I'm expecting. I don't believe this case is closed. There's been some funny business. And then I'm going to serve it on everybody, including myself, and it's going to be accepted. But what I want is for it to be rejected or accepted, one or the other. But I have 3 or 4 filings sitting in limbo that has been neither since July 22nd. And that is the evidence, not this evidence, but that is the evidence now that I sent to the Supreme Court for this case, and it's still not docketed. I don't know what's going on. They probably would try to deny it before it could be docketed or hold on to it. I don't know. But this is the next filing. I'll submit it tonight or tomorrow. I have to get Googly Eye up to speed. He's brand new. I got cut off. So I'm just letting everybody know. And then once it's either rejected or not rejected after a day or two, I file again a mailing to the U.S. Supreme Court. It won't be as expensive this time because it'll just be a few pages long to everybody. And then we'll see how that goes. We just keep filing evidence. But when I do that, I will also, after I file and mail it, I get all the I get all the tracking numbers, and then I send an email to the Supreme Court now, the U.S. Supreme Court, where I CC everybody, including Cat Stevens' baby girl. So you'll get information on that, I hope, later this week. But that's what I'm doing on the lawsuit. Okay, I'm waiting for it to be I'm just waiting, and it's very exciting, but I think Trump is in charge of it, and he's not going to let it get very far. In case he does, let's just, okay, so that's what I'm doing on this. We're going to leave that open because I'm going to talk about this later. But for now, we're going to come back to, okay, gripe. So this was a Wordle, this has to do with my Wordle muses, but I think a bad actor has, I should have probably solved the Wordle today to figure out. I think it has been a lot of times there's a takeover by the bad guys when I out my Wordle muses as interacting with me, as they obviously, it's like it becomes so obvious sometimes if you follow. There are some periods where they are absolutely talking about things that I'm filing, things that I'm eating at work, grape. I have a jar of grape jelly every day at my work, and I mean only stuff that I know about, nobody else. And so they're just telling me. I mean, that could be a coincidence, but there were some other things that were obviously not coincidences because they had to do with my videos and my filings and stuff. Then they just, when that happens, they turn really mean. And they're like, oh, you're just griping. And yesterday was snipe. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. Now I'm kind of concerned because that could be a snide remark. I sniped back at like some people at Lowe's. I did a little bit of a snipe. I'll talk about that later. But it could also mean, hey, I also feel like I'm not really safe right now. I'm having, I think the focus now when I'm doing these Do Not Poo Poo This doesn't have to do with Kelly and her show that much as me now. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm feeling a little bit concerned about the way some people at Lowe's are behaving from headquarters. And you know what that means, what that happened before from Walmart. They're following the same pattern. We're going to talk about that later. I want to solve today's Wordle and make sure that it isn't somebody saying snipe as in sniper, okay? Because that's what I'm worried about is, you know me with my shootings and things, and it could be another, one of these things at Lowe's where that was just a direct shot at me from the bad Wordle guy. Okay, I mean, I'm going to find out what today's Wordle is, but we're going to go with the first word that gave me a clue that I will wait for you. I will wait, my dear Wordle muses, the good guys. The bad guys are sort of in control right now. But when they did gripe, I said, oh, that sounds like, I mean, that it's the bad guys targeting me on this one because they've already used this one before. So I looked it up. I said, when was this one used? And it was used on December 23rd, 2021. So they're reusing words now at Wordle. And this one was very specific. Like, why would you put gripe? And I thought maybe the good Wordle muses were wanting me to go back to see what was going on in December of 2021. I don't think so now. I think this was just a happy coincidence, or not. It's just a subconscious thing. In my case, it turned out to be good because what I did was I went to my YouTube because I don't have Twitter anymore, so I can't see what I was doing. And I wanted to see what was going on around December 21st. So it's not very far from my very first. I opened a YouTube account in like I think it was even in 2009. I just never used it. And my very first post was a Nicole Yoki cover of My Life Would Suck Without You. So my first thing was a Nicole Yoki, and it was of a Kelly Clarkson song, of course. So we know where I'm coming from on my very first post on January 19th, 2010. That's a long time ago. And then my second, but I was mostly in the USA Today commenting trenches before that, and I was at Twitter starting in 2008 or 2009, almost exclusively. So I didn't post very much, obviously. The next one is 6 months later, and then and then I just wanted to make a point that around this time, in 2010, in the summer, I was interacting with J&K, which is Jill and Kate. That's Kelly Clarkson's backup singers at the time. And some of you fans, if there's anybody out there watching this, I'm the only person who sees my videos, by the way. A lot of times there'll be 3 or 4 views on these videos, and those are all me. And I don't see any other people viewing, so they're either being shadow banned. So if you're viewing my video and then you don't see the views go up by 1 or 2 or whatever it is, then I'm definitely being shadow banned, or nobody's watching this. So I don't think so. I think a lot of people are watching this, important people. So we're going to talk about the J&K mug in a minute. I talked about Sophie, Cutie Kitty. Sophie was the name of the cat I had at the time, and this is my daughter petting Sophie. I never use a different pen name or am not an anonymous online, but I did send some messages to Jill and Kate at one point when I was in Nashville, and the name of it was Sophie Bird, because I had a bird and I had Sophie Kitty in my car at the time, and that was like, or I think that's what my daughter called Sophie. She was with me there in Nashville, so I just made up the name Sophie Bird, but that's because that's the cat's name. It wasn't anything. It's also my grandmother's name. But between 2010 and 2020, in those 10 years, I have one post in 2016 of the San Francisco Santa Run with my friend Nina. Nina Hernandez was in that, and I went. She wanted me to film that, so I did. Anyway, that was fun. The Santa Run is very fun in San Francisco. I went to that several times. The next one, I'm starting to record my cat in my truck in May of 2020, and then I hadn't talked to Kelly in a long time, but I was back talking to her online on Twitter, and I tried to do a sing along to her new song, I Dare You to Love. And I didn't know, because it was the first time I had ever had anything to do with copyrights. I sang the entire thing to her singing it. And so it was blocked, of course, but I just kept it here in case I might try to. I mean, the whole thing, well, I'll show you a little clip of it right here. Here's an example, but it went on for like 3 minutes, okay? So I want to get rid of this. We're just going to show you this. Okay. Okay, you can barely hear me. Anyway. So you can barely hear me, but she's doing most of the singing. So of course that was copyrighted. I hope that doesn't flag me on this one. So we're gonna get rid of that. But that's a whole video of that, and I'm going on and on about this. So that's what this is. I just left it there because I might try to repost that, but it's crazy. And then I'm in my truck. That's the last time I was in my truck. And I had this private for a long time because I didn't like what I looked like, and I looked silly, and I had the glasses funny. But it's up there for an important reason, because here and here are 2 lawsuits I did. This one was about my lawsuit where I was eventually fired from Kenco for the driver-facing camera stuff. Actually, no. Well, yeah, and this is a video about that, even though I was driving for another company at the time. And this one was about a lawsuit I did concerning the 55 mile an hour, dangerous 55 mile an hour truck speed limit for California. So I had a lawsuit here on video on driver-facing cameras. That's really good. And then I had a lawsuit here on the 55 mile an hour speed limit for trucks. And both of these, that's what those videos are kind of about. And those are still valid and good lawsuits, so I just abandoned them after a while. I have really good. And then, so here's what's going on around December 23rd, is this one. Gonna need the door notarized. So we're gonna get to that in a minute. Baby girl, this was like, I'm just showing you like stuff that's publicly online and that I put on Twitter, and you just got to be aware of this before you try to do it, before anything comes at you or Jill in the lawsuit. So before I do that, we're going to do Jill first. So this is Jill and Kate. And before the Jill and Kate, I did some rope swing, some are fun. That wasn't Jill and Kate. But in August, before this, in July of 2010. So I'm just putting everything into context. I also had a big case up with Arnold Schwarzenegger, like a civil rights, a parenting rights case going on in 2010. So that's what's going on as far as family court stuff. But in May or June of 2010, oh, I hope you're still watching this. Oh, I wanted to go faster than this. This is going to be done seriously in like 20 minutes. I don't want this to go longer than an hour. Like seriously, this is important. So I hope you, okay, never mind. So in May or June of 2010, Jill and Kate and Kelly all lived in one house in Nashville. It's actually in Belle Meade, but in Nashville, Belle Meade's a small incorporated something, whatever. It's within Nashville. I don't know. It's all kind of the same. But they lived in the same house. together, and they did a video online where they were goofing around and they drove around and then they drove home. And you could see, because maybe they didn't realize, but when you're doing Google Street, Street View and stuff, you can map the whole way to Kelly's house just from that video they did. And I proved it. I went, look, there's some really telling markers on this, like you could see everywhere they went and then follow to where they got home. Now I couldn't post that online, so I figured out where the house was just from that video. Okay, and I sent them a letter. All right, and I sent them a letter on July 16th, I believe it was. So, and it said, like, it joked around and it said stuff. But that letter is now, and I'm going to show you what's going on with that letter. But before we do that, this is for you, Kelly. You need to get this information to your attorney, or you need to talk to Jill. And this is how you get the information. Okay, you can do this yourself. You go to this website. It's LA Court. LA Court. You could see the website address, but you find it's not civil. You got to get out of the civil division. This isn't civil division. Family law is a different kind of department in LA County. So this is Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles. And you go to this find a family law case. If you could find, it's hard to get to this actually, but I should have shown how to get here. I always stumble into it. But anybody can do this, not just me. You come to the case number, and the family law case I'm looking up is the civil harassment restraining order that I'm claiming is fake, that somebody forged on behalf of Kelly Clarkson, and for which I was falsely arrested and for which I was falsely imprisoned for 195 days. Okay? And that's what the case, that's all the way up to the Supreme Court right now is about, is everybody covering up this fact. And we can't seem to get information on this all the way up to the Supreme Court, and it's the whole way up, it's uncovering more and more fraud the whole way up. And it's eventually going to lead to, I hope, Adam Schiff and Ted Lieu, and I believe it will, and I believe it already has, and I believe Trump is already using it to form the Congress that he needs to take down the 16th Amendment. But I'm just going to keep trudging. But I want you to not get collateral damage from this, and I want you to be aware and not get, watch your flank, I guess they say. So that's the number, that's the case number that you supposedly filed, and maybe you did. I'm still not 100% sure about that. Even if you did, everything that happened after that is really bad news, but it is still your responsibility because you hired that attorney, and if you didn't, then you need to really talk to somebody. But Ed McPherson was your attorney on another case, absolutely on another case. He was on the, the Talent Agencies Act case. And then he's suddenly on this case, and I'm not sure he did that with your permission or not, or if it was Brandon who did it or whatever it was. But he's on your case here officially and publicly, and you haven't undid this. Okay, so you're responsible for everything he's doing because he's your attorney on this. So this is that case, and you select the courthouse. You don't have to, but it's Stanley Moss Courthouse. You search the case, and what happens is all the docket entries and everything I've filed recently is there. But if you want a copy of it, if you want a copy of what I'm looking for, which you should get, you can get this on your own. You don't have to go through your attorneys. You come up to the top, and there's a little tiny link here. Click here to access document images for this case. It's not only images, you could actually order copies of what is filed. And you don't have to sign in. You could just continue as guest, as I do. Okay? Now, here are all the filings, and you could actually buy them. And this is the one you buy. It's an earlier filing. The earlier filings are further down on the next page. It goes from earlier to later, from bottom to top. So we're looking for something filed on December 13th. And it says declaration, there were two of them. What you want is the one that's 28 pages long. And this is a copy of it, I think, this exhibit list, but this is the one we're after. It's the Declaration of Jill Pickering. Okay, you're going to click on that, you're going to submit it, and then it's going to be $14. So that's just not you. Anybody out there watching this, if you're curious about this, what Jill Pickering said to me before I said about me in a filing, I don't believe she said this. I think it was another forgery, possibly, or she was forced to say things. But you need to talk to Jill, like seriously, before this goes much further. She could go sideways very quickly. Okay, so then you proceed. No, 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 cancel. Don't. It just bought my thing. No, no, no. I don't want to pay. Okay. Anyway, so I just showed you that, and I'm going to close that down because what I'm going to show you is, and I'm going to close this one down. And what comes up? Okay, so before we do this, I'm going to show you what comes up when you buy those 28 pages. It's going to be, this is the number, it is 087078896. That's, and I made this up. The 2000 Jill Pickering Declaration is what I made up, but I think that's the number of the file that gets downloaded. Okay, it is 28 pages. Okay, and it's the Declaration of Jill Pickering in support of request of petitioner Kelly Brianne, PK Kelly Clarkson, for permanent restraining order. So first of all, just to tell you, this isn't where you get a civil harassment restraining order. You're supposed to get it in civil court, not in family court. So that's already a problem. It's because they're judge shopping as they are now. It's just all fraudulent from the very beginning. But this is what we're looking at. We're looking at item number 4. On or about July 16th, 2010, we received a letter that was addressed to Miss Clarkson, Miss Rapier, and that's Kate Rapier, and me, Jill Pickering, from someone identifying herself as H. Nicole Young. Okay, this is a 1,050,000, 110, 200,000% flat out lie. Okay, proven, and this is why you can prove it. So, on or about July 16th, we received a letter that was addressed. And then she goes on to describe the contents of the letter as if, now in litigation you can do this. If you're an attorney and she actually received that letter at that time and then read it or knew the contents of it, and then later she's shown, 10 years later, what was this, July 10th? So 12 years later, she's shown the letter, she could read it to refresh her memory, and then she could describe the contents of it. That's fine if that's what they did and if that's what happened. And she does describe the contents of the letter because she was given the letter, because it's right here. They reproduced it right here. But here's what it is. Here's what and you can go get it. I mean, I would prefer it isn't all my private letters that I'm trying to, but in the letter there's a couple of things too that are very interesting. But let's just stop that for right now. So the letter is from, well, let's just do it right now, actually. Here's H. Young. My address was 716 Stanage Avenue in Albany, California, which is in the Oakland, it's next to Berkeley. It's in the Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area. Across the bay near Oakland is Albany. And I moved to 716 Stanage Avenue in the summer of 2004. So in the summer of 2007, 3 years later, Kelly purchases a house in Belmead, Tennessee, with the same exact address, 716 Westview, too. I mean, even the name of the street, she's looking west. But when I found that out, I'm going, oh, that's like, okay, she's stalking me. Okay, Kelly's stalking me. She just bought a house that has the same address as me. Now, it's either that or it's not either that. So that's what I say. I'm joking. I prefer the official story to be we're psychically connected. We're like this is like if you ask Googly Eye, my pal, you say, what are the chances of this happening randomly? He'll say it's 1 in 500,000 or something like that. It depends on a lot of things, but it is a very, very odd and not very likely, especially since mine is an apartment. Hers is like $1 million home and all these other factors. It just looks that way, or it looks like a coincidence. That's not what I'm talking about. I did discuss that in the letter. That is her address, and I did discover that through only Jill and Kate's video. I proved to them that you can use Google People Search or whatever. What is that? People View. You can go down and view everything and just retrace them on their journey, and you can see all these landmarks and things, and then you can go straight to that address. Okay, that's how you can find out their address. And I didn't want to post that online. That's why I sent the letter. If you post that online and say, "Hey, this video shows exactly where you live," duh. Okay, so there you go. So I sent them the letter. But look what happened. The letter was returned to me. Okay, I know it was. I never opened it either. It was returned to me sometime in July, and I never opened it because I knew its contents, and I threw it in my pile of paper. I threw it in a thing of paper. And now, so the question is this. This is in like the summer of 2010. In January of 2011, I was arrested. I was running from some more forged arrest warrants, forged court orders. I was running from the family court for the third or fourth time after being, and I ran all the way to Tennessee because I was familiar with Nashville and I was hoping to get, maybe some help or some kind of anything. And when I was arrested in Nashville, it wasn't for stalking Kelly Clarkson. Okay, and the reason I'm saying this is because that is why I spent 195 days in jail. Because this letter was shown to the court as proof that I had been stalking Kelly Clarkson as early as July 2010 or whatever it is. And the contents of the letter say this, and all this other stuff that came from apparently Jill Pickering, which it didn't. And the reason why I say that is because she doesn't have this. As of January of 2011, I had this letter and it wasn't opened. Okay, so Jill Pickering never saw and never received. And I asked Googly Eye, I said, I don't have this either. I said, what, you see this here? I know it was returned to me, but can you tell from this if they actually received the letter? He says, no, this is something that was done at the post office there in Belmead in Nashville, and it was returned without ever going out to the address. So there is no way any of those people, Jill or Kate or Kelly, had possession of this letter ever. It just was sent back to me before it even went out to that address. Okay, so you get Jill on the witness stand. If this gets that far and you say, what the fuck? Why are you saying this in a sworn testimony and telling me about the contents of this letter as if you had it in hand in July? And I'm asking Googly Eye and everything is no, this is absolute perjury because of the way it was worded. It wasn't like I received this letter according to the lawyer who handed it to me 12 years later. No, it was she says she received it on or about July 16th because they got it from the postmark. So now the question is for you, baby girl, is you need to talk to Jill and ask her if that is a faked signature or why she lied, okay? And who forced her to lie, and who gave her the letter, and where did the letter come from? I'm going to find out. You need to find this out because it's your attorney who put this up here. How did your attorney get this letter when it was in my possession before I was arrested? So it was either, and what I can't remember is if it's in my apartment in Albany, and I lost the apartment after I got arrested, or my car in Nashville, and I lost all the contents and my car in Nashville. It was in one of those two places. So it'd be very creepy if it was Brandon, like going either way. Somebody, of course, this like happened to me here, this last arrest. My car is impounded. I'm in jail for months. I don't have any money. I can't get my car, so they sell it with all my possessions. And my animals are spread all over the place. The kids, my gay baby daddy came to get the kids in Nashville. And then I spent 9 months in jail after, this whole ordeal over this. And it was so bad. And the reason I'm in Nashville is also because it was a fake arrest warrant. And I wanted to go across state lines as far as I could to almost dare them to commit a real federal crime of sending a fake arrest warrant through the wires over across state lines. Total like a major federal offense. And they did it and got away with it. And I was like, okay, just like now, it doesn't stop me. I'm still going to keep doing it because there's corruption even back then. And it's possible the people I'm suing now go all the way back to that. Especially if it's somebody from Baby Girl, if it's somebody from Starstruck Entertainment who are part of this lawsuit now, who did this. If they were the ones who got possession when out of the car in Nashville, way back in 2011, okay, and they're holding it on and doing this, and then all of a sudden it's surfacing now, and it never surfaced until now, and all of a sudden they're getting Jill to sign this thing, and they're putting me in jail again, and they had something to do with the first arrest warrant. or if it came from my gay baby daddy who went through my apartment before I was evicted out of it and got the kids' stuff and got a lot of stuff, and he found the letter there. I'm just not sure which one it is. But if it's my gay baby daddy interacting with, that's bad too. That's what I believe more than anything, possibly. I don't know which one it is. You just need to find out. You need to find out what this is, because it's going to come up, and this is your lawyer who's doing this. Okay, it's your attorney, and it's, opening the letter and all that. That's not a crime, because once I received it and I had it in my possession, it's no longer U.S. mail or anything like that. There's no anybody after that can open it and do whatever they want, but it's just that is just a lie. The item number 4 is perjury, and that's a big deal. Okay, it's a big deal to me, and it might not get anywhere. It's just okay. Blah blah blah. 1234. So that's that. That's the Jill Pickering thing. Now that's the other. I mean, you have other problems, and we'll see. I mean, it's also a security thing. Okay, so you need to find out who did this, because they're still working at these various places, possibly even at NBC, and you're going to NBC still to film The Voice, I believe. I'm not sure you're done filming there, and you just need to find out who this is, especially if it goes back to either. Okay, I've talked enough about this one. Let's just. So you know what you need to do, and you know how to get that information, and it's not even like it's not circumstantial. It is 10,000% right there in that one picture. She did not have possession of this letter the way she claims on on or about July 16th. She never had it. That's just a lie. It's impossible. Okay, like I don't know what it's just a lie. Okay, so figure out why. All right, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's just one. There's a couple of other things, but let's just that's the big one, because you have to protect Jill. Okay, I mean, she doesn't have money for an attorney. She doesn't have whatever, and if they're pressuring her, you need to find out why and how, or especially if they're signing her name. If you found out why and how and already on top of this, then you're golden. Everything's all set. Okay, and if you already know ahead of time this is getting nowhere, then ignore all this. Okay, and that's fine by me. I'm going to keep going until I can't go anymore. That's it. There's going to be no settling. I never settle. It's just ridiculous to settle for money. First of all, I could never collect it probably, and it's so corrupt. The system is so corrupt that even if I collected any money, they could just turn around and sue. They're like, I wouldn't collect it, and if I did collect anything, they just sue me. Trump knows this. He knows it's just useless. Not everybody can believe this though. The whole system will come crashing down. It's not like I don't care. I want this all exploded. Like I want the whole thing exploded. Get the 16th Amendment down, whatever it is. But there's a certain way you have to do this, and you can't it can't be total chaos either. You can't put out there that every single thing that's been mailed to you from the Supreme Court of California, every single decision that's been mailed to you over the last, is fake or false or questionable. It's just, or you can't tell every prisoner in a state prison in the whole country that 98% of them are there unconstitutionally because they didn't get a grand jury indictment, or, it's just, we got to get moving too, though. We can't just sit around and do this shit, because it will go bad very quickly if things don't change. So Trump's been changing it behind the scenes very gradually, and all of a sudden there's going to be world peace, and nobody's going to know the freaking difference, because that's how talented this guy is. Okay, it's like world peace will come in like a lamb, not like a lion. It's, everybody's all complaining about stuff, and it looks like that's what he's doing. And I'm going to be this, it's going to sacrifice my case and everything, but hopefully later, because I'm having a blast. I hope I can keep going. Okay, so let's get back to what's going on with Gripe, and why my Wordle muses either accidentally, or my bad ones accidentally, or my good Wordle muses sent me back to this video, because we're going to continue on the theme. So deniability is what I get. This is like a gift. Kelly, your love language is gifts, and one of the gifts, in addition to striving for world peace like crazy, at great human sacrifice, is the gift of deniability. But you have to be careful, because you can't. Like, I don't think you can get away with what was, if you said that when you were when whoever, I think it's a fake person, but even if you, under those circumstances, you felt the need to say those things, you're not going to be able to get away with saying, like, nobody's going to be able to get away with pretending this was just a stranger who came out of nowhere and we have no idea. We never knew who this was before, November of 2022. I mean, it's just not going to be possible to deny that much. Possibly. But so my story is my story. So we're connected psychically, which is fine. That could be true. I think it is. It could be. I mean, I'm not giving that up. Or, so in 2006, this is just everything that happens that's out there. It's online. In 2006, I became very active online. I put up a website, a family court reform website, and then I also started doing, in 2007, a lot of 9/11 truth stuff online. And I also, in 2006, I believe, and in 2007, was in the San Francisco Chronicle, but in the USA Today, commenting trenches more than anywhere. Commenting every day is my favorite thing to do. Even now, I love doing that. Commenting where I can on the stuff going on. And it's very intriguing, everything I did, and a lot of it was truth, and a lot of people probably were attracted to that. But I also, got into a lot of trouble. But I think this is my story. Kelly Clarkson's mom really likes looking at that stuff, and she likes USA Today commenting trenches. Now, I'm just making all this up. Not really. I mean, I think I've heard it online at some point. But she was attracted to me, and she introduced my online commenting to Kelly. Let's say 2007 or 2006. And then that's where I got the greatest fan of my life. All right. So I think you became a fan. I'm going to say in 2007, possibly bought a house because you felt cosmically connected. You knew my address. I don't think anything was secret at the time. It's not like you were actually stalking me. I think my address was up there, very easy for anybody to get, and possibly even posting that in the post, whatever it is. And then you just, that house came up and you saw the address, and then that clicked. It wasn't like you were looking for a house, but it was Westview too, which cracks me up. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And you've been cyber stalking me since. Okay, so let's just continue on this path, and we'll see. All right. So what's going on here? So in this video, that's the closest to gripe, which was December 23rd, 2021. It's 12:41. I got to do this in 5 minutes or less. I'm going to get rid of... Okay, so we have gripe. I'm going to get rid of that. I need to get rid of some things. I'm going to get rid of Thursday 23rd. I'm there already. What else did I show here? Oh, I just showed this stuff. I haven't showed all of this. Did I show this? Did I show this? Oh, I still have a lot to go. All right, let's just do... Okay, so I left science in like 2000, something like that, 1992, and came out to Hollyweird. I was going to go to business school. I had a scholarship for that, decided against it, and just got a job working for the Go-Between. Now, that was in 2000 and 2001. I worked for the Go-Between. And I delivered, before there was internet and you could transfer files on PDF, I transferred mostly scripts, physical printed scripts, between producers, TV writers, stars, their scripts. Like I delivered mostly to housemaids and things, Pierce Brosnan in Malibu, Glenn Fry, who is that, for the Eagles? He lives in Santa Monica. Christine Lottie lived in Santa Monica, and she actually answered the door. She had the kids and everything. And Tobey Maguire used to live in the Hollywood Hills above Sunset Boulevard. And who else? But one of them that I remember, and I liked this area too, is in Toluca Lake. His name is Joe Montaigne, and I knew who he was even back then. Like you could see their names on here, and I'm sure I delivered to many other stars that I didn't know were stars, and I'm sure I delivered to many producers. But I was trying to break into. I just wanted to be a writer, like a TV writer, producer. I was an intern at a lot of places at the time, and I'm glad that never came to fruition because I had a different path. She walked away. She had to find out who she should be. A lot of times, Kelly will sing things, and I'm going, "Is that about me or is that about you?" I think the latest baby girl. I think it would be better for you in the long run if you make it. If you just say that the Miss Independent, the change in the lyrics lately are about me, because. She wasn't afraid. I just don't see that for you. Like, when you walk away from that, you walked away from that, the Brandon thing. That is the scariest thing for anybody because you know from past experience that those kids could be taken from you on nothing, on a dime. Okay, when you do a divorce like that, and then you have these piece of shit fucking two divorce attorneys who are known for, anyway. I think you were very afraid, and you should have been at the time. So the line, she isn't afraid, is like, not when you walked away. You should have been afraid, and if you weren't, there's something wrong with you. And it's the same with Whitney Cummings right now. Any celebrity with a little kid, either in a divorce or she's single like this, or it doesn't even matter. You can have those kids taken from you so freaking fast in a divorce, or if you're single the way she is. And lately you could tell, like, they made her hire this red-headed, closeted gay guy. This is all infantophile stuff going on with her, where they're forcing her to go by the script that they give to him. Like, she can't say whatever she wants anymore. She has to have this guy kind of there. And I think the subliminal or the veiled thread is her kid will be taken from her easily. She's in the 30, I just checked. Whitney Cummings is in the 35 million mark for, I think when I looked online, I said, what's her net worth? And that's in like your ballpark area too. And this is plenty. This isn't like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds 400 million area, or Elvis 400 million, where they kill his only grandson and do all this crap. But it is enough to get their attention. By the way, I just saw there was like a Powerball worth almost $1 billion, and it's going to go to somebody in California. Powerball is all rigged, and California is in deep, deep, deep caca. And you're welcome, world. Okay, they are in deep financial caca right now. With the corrupt part of California is so. They are going to get a win. It's going to be the lottery ticket's going to come from California. They need that billion, whatever it is, and they need Whitney Cummings, 35 million. They need anything they can get right now. So you were afraid, and you should have been afraid, and you should still be a little bit afraid. But yeah, so Miss Independent. But yeah, I'm glad I walked away from all sorts of stuff, but especially going to business school at the time, because I was supposed to go to law school a little bit later after I had kids instead. I just talked with my daughter today. I said I went there and then I had a baby instead. She was laughing. I had you. But so anyway, in 2000 and 2001, I am having a blast. I am driving and delivering, which I love to do as a trucker, and I'm delivering. And if I'm not out in the car listening to the radio all day, I'm stocking shelves. I love these jobs, the stocking shelves. Anything I can wear jeans. Being a mom, stocking shelves. Being a scientist it doesn't matter to me. But so I am getting on every back lot except Warner Brothers. They forced you to drop your packages right outside. They wouldn't allow. But I'm on Disney. You're going through these halls, looking at all the public isn't allowed in these places. If you're an intern there, maybe you see this stuff, but and especially Universal Studios, I'm constantly delivering to Amblin Entertainment on the lot. You can get in very easily then. It was before 9/11 stuff, and and then I took the opportunity to wander around. Now that you're not allowed to do, but I was told that if you walk with a clipboard and you look like you have a purpose, everybody will leave you alone. So I was able to get behind the clock tower that was in Back to the Future. It was all fake, and there's cat poop back there. It was just fun, and I've described this before. But and I've described loving Toluca Lake area because I did deliver to Joe Montaigne. He did invite me in for lemonade. Um, and I love the Toluca Lake area that he lived in because I delivered there a lot, and I just didn't know he was the only star, and he invited me in. And I remember I had a good, and he had the kids running around, and it was hot. And if he remembers, but he probably did that to all the delivery people. But I delivered a script to him, the go between, and I just love that whole area. There's also a shopping center there with a Vons that I would stop at often, and I love that area. And when I moved out to California, when I got my
Hello, happy Monday, March 8th, 2021. This is, I call it it looks like it's a tree by where I lived for the last 2 months in my car, at the Walmart parking lot in Gulf Shores, Alabama. I love this place.
So that's from The Greatest Fan of My Life. I would highly recommend this one and then the one before it, which was the one just before I was arrested, where that caused the whole YouTube channel to be taken down, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So here I am in March. I'm driving out to California. I'm just showing you, it's all online, that stuff, baby girl. And then on
Hello, happy Saturday, March 13th, 2020.
So I say 2020, but it's actually 2021. And there is no Saturday, March 13th in 2020. Saturday is on March 13th is 2021. But this is, I'm looking for plugs because that's what you do when you're homeless and you live in your car. And it's March 13th. So I left Gulf Shores, Alabama in my car on March 8th, and I'm in already California in Canoga Park, looking for a job, looking for outdoor plugs because that's what you really need. And that's posted as well. I posted this one a little bit later in 2025, but I'm just showing evidence that I'm there where I am in March of 2021. I'm in Canoga Park area. So I remembered, okay, so first of all, I get out there, and before I even arrived, I was already applying to the three or four Walmarts. There's one out in Burbank, there was one in West Hills, and then there was one in Simi Valley where I actually had an interview, and I went out there and I was ready. I was going to go out there. So I applied to grocery stores, and when those fell through, I applied to every grocery store in the valley, in the whole San Fernando Valley, okay? But my favorite is the Vons that I remember in Toluca Lake, or it's in Burbank, because it's open 24 hours. And if you're a truck driver, where is this? If you're a truck driver, or if you're me, you love anything that's open 24 hours. There's something about the Walmarts across the country at the time. They were always open 24 hours. I've always loved things that are open 24 hours, even before I became a truck driver. And that's why I would probably love New York. When I was there, a few times I visited there, I loved it because it's the city that never sleeps. I love a city that never sleeps. However, the San Fernando Valley is not the city that never sleeps. The San Fernando Valley is so big, and yet if you search any supermarkets in the San Fernando Valley in LA County that are open 24 hours, you get my Vons. It's the Vons. It's not in Toluca Lake, but it's on the Burbank border of Toluca Lake. Like as soon as you drive off of Sarah Street and come around the corner, it becomes Burbank, right where Vons is. There's like a line. So it's in Toluca Lake, Burbank, right next to Universal City. I love this Vons. I always have, and yes, I did apply there in March, April to work there. But I also applied all over the San Fernando Valley, and I finally got in at Target in West Hills, way over there. But this is still my stomping grounds. I still aimed to get an apartment here near Universal. You could walk to Universal. Just because I've always loved this area, and I remembered, like, what's his name? Here he is. So 10415 Sarah Street is where Joe Montaigne lived, and I looked him up, and he had sold it like just before, like in 2020, 2021, like just before I got out there. I'm not stalking him. I was just curious because it was just memories. It's like I'm going to knock on the door. Do you remember me? But I just like the area, and I was just curious. But that's where his house is, right here on Sarah Street, but he's not there anymore. And when I came out, I found out. But the Vons is still there. It's still open 24 hours. It's right over here. Where is this? Yeah, you come up here, and then you go around the corner, and then you come up to... Go around the corner. I think this is the Vons. Yeah, this is the Vons. Let's do this. Let's do the street view. So see, it's right there, the Vons. Yeah, there it is. All right, so I am in the Vons, and you saw the street view. All right, so let's show you. This is my Vons. I love this Vons, open 24 hours. I wanted to work there. I still was going to work there if I got fired at Target. Okay, so that's my Vons. I love that Vons. And I love the whole, there's a Starbucks over here too. Anyway, it's just a great place if you're homeless, and that's where I used to spend my weekends. But anyway, so this is my Vons. I love this Vons. I was there in April of 2021 about. I like to spend my weekends there. But see that bench? See this bench outside Vons? Does that look familiar to you? Look at the brick wall back here, or the brown wall. Okay. That's me. That's me doing this video. And on December 21st, 2021, I'm at that Vons doing this video called... Let me delete this. All right. Anyway, so this is proving that okay, so this is the video. I'm gonna need the door notarized. It was a Nicole Yoki response to Kelly's gonna leave the door open. And it's like, no, it was just fun. But that's where I am on December 21st. And before that, it's only the first time I've actually posted a video there. So anyway, that's where I am. I'm sitting on that bench at that Vons, at that place. And it's my stomping grounds. It's my stomping grounds. In May, April, well, I got the job at the Target, so I didn't come out that often at that time, but I was starting to come out my weekends. So if you work at the way I work at these as a stalker, you get the weekends, and it's usually never the weekend. Your weekend is like Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, whatever. And my weekends were like Tuesday, Wednesday. So my weekends, I didn't want to hang around homeless over in that area. I had a great place with a plug in the Owens Mouth parking structure. My life was set up before I could get an apartment. I was all fine because I had my plugs, and I had my plugs here, and I had my 24-hour fitness. There's one up the street, and there was one in Burbank that I liked because it was near the other place I was going to move if I got a job at that Walmart out in Burbank. It's right next to that 24-hour fitness. My Target is at the 24-hour fitness near the Walmart over there in West Hills. Anyway, so, and then you say, well, if you're coming out to your Vons here, okay, and that's the Vons 24 hours, and you love it, and where did I go? Okay. Anyway, I lost my Google map. I lost my Google map. Oh, I did. All right. Anyway, so that's what's going on at the time. And it just brought me back to December 21st. And if you're driving out from West Hills, San Fernando Valley is huge too, to just have one 24-hour store. Like, I was going to apply to every 24-hour store in the valley to work at, because I would prefer the night shift and whatever it is. And that's the only one, if you saw it on the Google one, I just deleted it. And the San Fernando Valley, when I looked at it, is 260 something square miles. It's huge. It's bigger than Chicago. It's bigger than Singapore. It's bigger than, it's twice as big as Queens. It's just a huge area for just one 24-hour store. There's a lot of reasons I like that area. There's a lot of reasons I like being there. So I'm there. First. And the reason I would go out there from the West Hills, you say, well, why don't you just get on the freeway and get off at North Pass? It's right there. Because my license was suspended way earlier, like years earlier, not years, but yeah, no, not years, 2020, just a year earlier or whatever. It was actually suspended because I was, I put in a challenge to the 55 mile an hour truck speed. I wasn't sure if it was suspended or not, but the fact that when I'm going through all this arrest stuff, they never mentioned that my license was suspended. It's just odd to me. They found my license, but they don't know that it's suspended. They could have arrested me on that. You don't want to get on the freeway. I never got on the freeway the whole time I was there. Whenever I would travel to my weekend in Burbank at this Vaughn's area, and I was in a car in that whole area, and I loved people there. I loved the dogs. I used to walk the cat there. I loved the apartments. There was apartments right there that I was, looking at and I wanted to move into, but I never quite was able to do that. But I only go by the streets. So I would travel from all the way from West Hills down there, come this way, go down Sarah Street, and then get to my Bonds. So I was doing that regularly, and then Kelly Clarkson bought a home on Sarah Street in Toluca Lake in June. Okay, so I was there first. She's stalking me again with her house buying. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Okay, baby girl, that's all it is. That's my story. Okay, I was there first. All right, stalker. Anyway, the point is this. I don't think you're going to be able to use I didn't know who she was before this. And I'm not going to use, yes, I did know at a certain point that I'm passing by your place, and I did have a routine, but you can't change your routine when a bunch of gay Nazi, I can't say that word anymore, I'm trying not to say it, but I really want to say it right now, do stuff like this to you. You have to keep going, and I'm doing that, and I'm doing it at work, and I probably will be fired for it, but you can't change according to them manipulating you to change, because then it's like a sloth thing. I'm a sloth, and it's a defense mechanism. If you do that, it's either fight or flight, and that's kind of like a flight, and I can't do a flight. I have to stand my ground. And if you back down and do whatever they ask, and if I stop doing my routine because they were going on, on whatever, trying to say that they had a restraining order, whatever it was, I just couldn't back down, because it's a sign of weakness that is more dangerous. It's more dangerous when you do that. It's actually more dangerous, even though I don't have a good choice. Like right now, I don't have very many good choices. Okay, I'm either going to be fired or I'm going to be under a security threat with a sniper or something. I don't know what it is, but I can't, I won't back down. I'm not backing down, whatever that is. Tom Petty. Yeah, so it's just, they always put me in these kind of just choices, but it's looking like it's going my way a little bit, and maybe I got past the bad stuff, and I won't be arrested, and I won't be fired, but who knows? And there's no, the security threat has been lessened, but I'm giving you examples of what you probably can't say if you're going to be questioned. All right, I say you just stick with the truth, right? Okay, you stick with my truth, which is that you kind of knew about me just from online, vaguely. But you have to answer another question, which was how in April of 2021, on April 10th, I'm invited to come online for the first time to watch the Kelly Clarkson show. So I'm doing this through One Iota, and this is in April of 2021. Here it is. And at the time in season 2, all the guests came online. So I'm in my car over in the Owens Mouth parking structure with these plugs and everything and a white background. I did what I could. But I'm in my car online attending the show, and I did 3 or 4 shows, I can't remember. And I also did 3 or 4 shows in person. All right, so this is your production company, baby girl. And when there is news all over the place that I am your stalker and they don't know who I am, and nobody in your production company says, hey, she's attended her show several times, we have her address, we have her information, we have everything here, that has to be explained too. I mean, the real reason is because there's somebody at NBC involved in all this. Somebody working for you. It doesn't look good. You need to find out what happened here too and have an answer for it, because that's your company. Okay, and it just looks like there was somebody at the Kelly Clarkson show involved in that malicious prosecution arrest. That is why you're named, because it's almost for your own protection. You need to find this shit out yourself ahead of time. What the hell happened, and why is, Jack Struble claiming after 3 weeks of looking why he can't find my email address, which he's already caught in that lie 100%. I don't need this extra information, but this is just, you're going to need to find this out if this gets anywhere. Okay, so here I am attending, and that's that evidence, and then there's other evidence of the other one was a year later, I'm attending in person. Here it is. You're invited to attend in person. Kelly Clarkson Show, Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. That was the last time I attended, actually. I was attending all through that year. Not a lot. At 3 or 4, I'm sure it was 3, maybe 4. I'm not sure. And the same with the online stuff. So One Iota has all my information. All right, now the deal about this, the April 19th one is I have the video. But okay, let's just play the video. Here it is. Here I am. Okay, so I had a funny thing. I didn't go to this picture. They moved this in and then they stopped us right here. And this is where I stopped. It was right in front of your picture. So, and then of course I'm getting funny here because I loved that since the last time I was there, they erased the fugly diamond, the fugly canary diamond that I hate so much. I laughed so hard when I saw that. I was so happy. So we all had our masks, except me. Look at that happy girl. Look at that cute old lady, cute old lesbian. Okay, so I'm there. It's hard, and also, just so you know, that's on my phone as Tuesday, April 19th. So I'm there. But the thing about the Tuesday, April 19th visit was it wasn't just a regular visit. I came in with a goal in mind, which was this baloney. So on March the 9th of 2022, just a month earlier, I filed the whole Young versus Garcetti. I said, you guys are in deep shit. You need to stop the COVID mask stuff. This is all fake, blah, blah, blah. It was a huge lawsuit. It had all those other lawsuits where I went across the country. It was very incriminating. And then within days and within a month, days and weeks in various degrees after I filed, LA County lifted all the vaccine passports. They had just passed this in November. So like it's only there for 2 months and all of a sudden, now the lawsuit never went forward, but I was able to serve everybody and then they all pretended like they didn't receive it, but they did. It was so obvious they did. And they just like, phew. And then LA City. So by April 19th in 2022, all the laws had been lifted in both LA County and LA City. And the Kelly Clarkson Show is in LA County, just to be clear, because you have to follow LA County rules there, not LA City, which was a little more strict. But LA County, no mask mandates, no vaccine passports, no testing mandates required for anything. Anything, okay? So when the mandates aren't required, and yet the Kelly Clarkson Show was still requiring the tests and everything after the laws, you guys were really vulnerable to lawsuits on purpose. There were people in the legal department, I said, who were making it mandatory and getting money from the testing to do the test, get people's DNA stuff, do whatever, and then they were going to have somebody get injured by this. Because, first of all, and then injured and died, and then they were going to turn around and the same people were going to whistleblow and sue Universal, CMC at Comcast, Universal, for millions of dollars over this person's death. This is how the gay Nazis do it. It's all, they get them coming and going. And I wrote all over Twitter, I said, this is what's happening. You guys need to stop this right now. You're vulnerable. You're not protected by the law. This is just a recommendation. You can't force this. And this is like, I'm recording everything we had to sign. Look at this. And I posted all this to Twitter. You're supposed to sign a consent, that all this. And when they tell you ahead of time, by the way, they tell you ahead of time that you are expected to, you are expected to provide proof of being fully vaccinated, which you shouldn't have to by that point. And it's up to the businesses, but you're still being vulnerable. But this is the one. take a rapid COVID-19 test provided by production when you arrive. So at the time, the rapid COVID test meant in people's brains that nobody was sticking the swab up into your brain at that point. The tests by April of 2022 were the rapid tests were rapid, and they were just right here at the inside of your nose or a spit. It wasn't up to the eyebrows. For most people, they assumed that when they read rapid COVID tests. And they also assumed it meant you would just be tested right there, and then you wouldn't be giving up your DNA and all this and signing this consent form. So this is not informed consent to a medical procedure. When they're going up to the brain, that hurt, and that's like a real serious medical, and to only have us sign a consent once we're there, when everybody is assuming it's just going to be a little minor thing. Okay, and yet you arrive and you're not going to be able to be let into the show unless you sign this thing, this whole thing. Okay, this is what you have to sign on the spot. They don't give you this ahead of time. So this is after you've gotten the tickets, you've planned, you've come with your friends, you've dressed up, you've taken off from work. You show up and they say, oh, sorry, we're not letting you in unless you sign this consent form, which says they can do anything they want with the test results. They can give your DNA, blah, blah, blah. If you read it, it's boilerplate language. It's not informed consent, okay, legally. So that's where, and the legal department knows this. They're doing this on purpose so that when something happens to somebody, which they would have done, they would have killed somebody on purpose. Somebody's wife, of course, or whatever, wife or that they hated, and they would have killed her and then said it was due to this thing. And of course, the law, the courts are just a mess. They could do whatever they want with the courts, obviously. I've just shown that. So that's what the plan was. And I was saying, you need to stop it. So Kelly Clarkson Show was the first show to no longer require all this COVID shit. And you're welcome, world. I think I had something to do with that. At the same time, this was the last show I attended because I was banned from One Iota after I did this. I said, One Iota, you're in trouble. Kelly Clarkson Show, you got to look in the legal department, blah, blah, blah. All on Twitter. Banned from One Iota. So this is what I'm telling you, baby girl. This is your production. This is your name on here. It's the Kelly Clarkson Show. You need to find out how this happened, that I was banned from One Iota, number one, because that is a security threat. Number two, why didn't any of this show up less than 6 months later in the civil harassment restraining order against me? I mean, you have all my information which they're claiming they're trying, because it didn't fit the narrative, and it's because somebody in your show was involved in that, in the malicious prosecution. That's why they're sued. So you need to find this out before I do. Okay, they already know, and they're probably all these people who know this information are at also a security risk, including my gay baby daddy if he was supplying this information, including Jill Pickering if she has some information. All these people, of course, Brandon, the first person who's going to be killed, as I said, once he's with all the information, and what they're going to try to do going forward is say it was all him. They can't do that. I have too much stuff that shows that it's not just him, though they killed him for that reason, because they're going to try to blame everything and say, oh, this was all him. Oh, he got the letter from my gay baby daddy. Oh, he did all this. No, he doesn't have the power to do what's going on, especially now. He's dead, and yet they're still going on. Okay? So, yeah. So this is that. You're going to have to carve your narrative to this information, because this is public information. Even though my tweets were taken down, this was all in the tweets, and I do have those videos. I'm not taking them down. I'm not changing my story. I told you what my story is. Okay, so goodbye to you. Oh, and here I am. So, so I do have the video of me. I'm actually physically there, but there is no evidence of me actually showing up in the video. And so there was one karaoke, I forget which one it was. It's this one, but I don't know which one it was. But I was commenting on YouTube or at Twitter, and I said, oh, look at that, they did the lighting specifically to backlight her so you could see through her dress. And then I was teasing, because they showed the audience for this, and I didn't say it was me. I just said, oh, whoever was in the front, I was just teasing, being me. I said, whoever was in the front row, what a lucky bastard. And it was me. That's me right there. You just can't see it's me. And I was just being facetious. I was just joking around. And also because that's not the way it works. Like everybody will say, well, that's not how it works. You know, like the people in the front with the video screen are not in the, like we don't have, there's not little cameras on all the video screens going, going forward. And that's not how, I think she's facing opposite us anyway. What we all see when you go into the video conference for these shows is everybody sees the same, is they see the camera view. Whatever the camera is showing them, everybody sees the same thing. It's not like, you know, but I was just being funny saying the person here who's in the front row who was a witness to this is a lucky bastard. And it was me. That's me right there. Anyway, I was just teasing on that. And this was like a video, and I forget which one that was. Okay. And then there's me with my Target uniform. All right, so that is that. Is that it? Lucky bastard. Okay. All right. Bye. August 5th, and that was way before that, because I looked at August 5th and you were done filming by then. Okay, we're going to say goodbye to that one. We're going to say goodbye to this. Is that it? That's it. 1:14. It's an hour and a half. That's it. Bye, everybody. So, three security threats is whoever got me canned, whoever got me banned from 1iota, whoever is not giving the information between the Kelly Clarkson show and all the information you had on me with the police and with the arrest and all those guys, because they're the same people. It wasn't the right narrative they wanted. They wanted me to be a stranger who had never, okay. And what was the first thing I did? The Joe Pickering letter. Okay, whoever needed to get that straightened out, how she ended up lying about receiving that letter when she didn't. Those are all security threats, and they're all security threats for, I believe, your position at The Voice. I think those people are still around, and that's a security threat. Kind of low level-ish, not as much as I'm feeling for myself, because that's what I'm feeling right now. I'm not feeling like they have a lot of money and they're able to do a lot, but still, it's always a threat. I just have so much more to do. So I'm going to get to work and then do a filing, and then I'll tell you what's going on specifically with the lawsuit stuff. Okay? Okay. Hang in there, everybody. It's an hour and a half long. I'm so sorry. Hang in there, everybody. It's a good day for a great day. Onward, Christian soldiers who aren't Christian anymore, and Godspeed to everybody coming out the other side in one piece. Hi, baby. That's P-I-E-C-E, P-E-A-C-E, and P-I-E-C-E. So I had my son's cat over the weekend, and he's deaf and loud. You know, he's like a deaf person, and it sort of scared my cats, and I'm glad that they're coming around now. See? Come here. Come and say hi to the camera. I mean, they kind of disappeared for a while because they were afraid of him. He like meows very loudly, and it's like, oh my god. But yeah, I love that cat. Warp, you guys remember I used to. Okay, bye. That's it. Bye. I'm putting it up right now. Happy birthday to my daughter, and happy everything to Kelly. You're just doing great. I just love the videos that are coming out of the studio sessions. I think it's going fantastic, and I'm just so happy to see it all happening.